Okay, welcome to Bulldog Hill. In the last year we have transitioned from chains to pins. Put a lot of thought into the process of doing that transition as well and as economically as possible. You can see an example here of how we've gone about building these pins. They're 16 by 6, 16 feet long, 6 feet high, actually 6.5 feet high. The framing is done with wood, pressure treated 2x4s, and the wire within the framework is a 2x4 grid, 6 gauge hot dip galvanized, 6 feet high, 16 feet long, otherwise known as a horse panel. We acquired these wire panels from Davis Gates out of Kentucky. They delivered them to us, buying them a large number at a time, $60 per panel. We'll give you a look at what the panel by itself looks like. This is our last one. We are finishing the last panel on pin number 41. The process has gone smoothly. We're very happy with the result, and I wanted to share with folks who might want to build their own pins the process that we've gone through to construct these pins. The design is mine. My name's Tom Garner, and the design's working out very well, and it's turned out to be reasonably economical considering the size. I think it's going to be very durable. This is a stack of pin panels. Of course, it takes 4 panels to make a pin. Get an idea of what the panel looks like before it's assembled into a pin. Okay, the first thing I had to do was to build a table to work on, and this is what the table looks like. I chose to build it on the trailer because it was movable and it was the right height and saved a lot of work in terms of constructing the framework. You'll notice on this table, basically we did a 2x4 framework that was attached to the top of the trailer, and then we sheeted it with OBX, which is an inexpensive grade of plywood. On this table, we have, when we were constructing the first panel, we strategically placed blocks to act so that this could act as a template or as a jig, so that we didn't have to do such careful measuring on successive panels. So if you look at these blocks, you'll get some idea of how we place them. The table itself is 8 feet wide and a little over 17 feet long, which gives sufficient room to construct 6 by 16 panels. Okay, the 3 lengths of wood are needed to construct a panel. 16-foot 2x4s, 14-foot 2x4s, and 12-foot 2x4s. We use 6 16-footers, 3 12-footers, and 1 14-footer in each panel. Okay, we're going to go ahead and place the boards, the initial boards, on this table, and I'll be right back. Okay, now you can see where we have placed the initial layout of boards on the table, pushed up tightly against the template boards that are actually screwed to the table. We have 2 16-footers on each side at this point. As we're putting what we can put on here prior to laying the wire in place. Okay, the 16-footers are cut 193 inches and 3/16. That's 193 and 3/16 inches. The vertical supports, which are these, are cut to a length of 68.5 inches. So you can see we put down 2 on each end, 2 16-footers on each end, that represent the bottom rail and the top rail, and then 3 vertical supports. You can get a feel for how we screw them together, and these are screwed together, no nails. We want them to stay in place, and this is how we space them. We put these screws 3.5 inch coated guaranteed not to rust screws. This is how we space them. Roughly 1.5 feet apart. Okay, we'll go ahead and put these in place. This is part of the process of constructing 3 sides of a box. And this is how far we can go before we have to put the wire in. I'll show you over here. You guys can go ahead. How it's ultimately configured. This is 3 sides of a box. A common configuration in construction. If you're building a header around a door or around a window, this is how it's done because it's very rigid. It controls bending and flex in both dimensions. This piece controls the bending in this dimension, and then these pieces control bending and distortion in this dimension. So it's very rigid when it's finished. Okay, here you see the wire panel in place, and notice the spacing. This panel is probably the least desirable one to demonstrate on a video because it was the first one off the truck, and all the others were dropped on top of it. So it's got a couple little bends in it, which is not typical. But you'll see the spacing, all the wires within the wood, and then on the horizontal rails, the top and bottom rail, it's centered. Now we'll put the top boards on. Okay, here you see the top boards in place, and the screws, many of them are pre-installed or pre-started to give you an idea of the spacing. One point that I should mention is that once we did the dimensions to place the blocks, we did diagonal measurements to make sure they were the same to make sure that we were square. Okay, so the only boards that are not on this panel now are the end boards that will cap over the end here. We'll go ahead and assemble this, and I'll show you that. Okay, here we have the nearly completed panel, only lacking a cap board on each end to complete the 3 sides of the box on each end. So here you see the cap board. There's one on each end that is constructed from, it's actually cut, the 2 pieces are cut from a 14-footer. All the other vertical pieces are cut, 2 each from 12-footers. We'll put the screws in the end of this panel, and this panel will be finished. Okay, here you see the site that we have prepared for the pins that we're adding today. We're adding the final 11. We'll have a total of 41. The panel you just watched us build, panel number 164. Okay, you can see how we trap rock dust made from granite, comes from the quarry, inside to ensure that all the drainage goes from the inside to out, and also to ensure that the dog is standing in a material that will not make him muddy and that's easy to clean. You see we have a concrete house, 670 pounds of concrete. These were actually made, I made these in 1993. Very durable. We will paint these panels with a stain. I'll show you on a finished pin. Okay, this is a Deckmaster toner from Sherwin-Williams, and it adds a significant amount of life to the pressure-treated wood. Santos says hello. See the concrete walls we use, painted with a white epoxy to make them non-porous. You see that we put the pin panels together with 7-inch stainless steel lag bolts, 3/8 inch diameter. Hinges were bought off eBay. They're 4-bearing, 4-inch by 4-inch stainless steel. I bought them for $4 a piece, 3 on each door. I'll do another video on the doors. See the latch assembly. The doors is my design also, and I'll do another video for the doors. And this is me, Tom Garner, and Santos signing off. Happy